about stuff. So this one is actually a huge one, and I was talking to two very talented young men in our company last night for a few hours, and one of the conversation was what am I lacking? What is it that I need to do to get to that next level, like that slippery, very hard to find next gear that everybody's looking for. And honestly, man, I sat there, thought about it, and I said, guys, listen, the difference between you and the guys that are ahead of you in this company or in life is your standards. It's what you're willing to tolerate. The fastest way to change your life, the fastest way to make more money, the fastest way to have a better marriage, the fastest way to have a better body is you change what you consider acceptable, minimal acceptable standard. And I asked them, I said, if I came into your position today, you know me, and if I was in your position, and these gentlemen are in the sales side of things, and they're selling auto repair, and I asked them, I said, would I be content doing what you're doing every single day in terms of performance? And both of them said, no, you wouldn't. Well, okay, so you understand that. It's not that I'm more talented. I just refuse to tolerate the standard that, someone else may accept. I'm not special, and most people that I know, that I have met, that have achieved tremendous levels of things, way better than 10 times, 100 times more than I have. It's not that they're more talented. It's not even that they work harder. This whole notion of just work hard. Man, honestly, dude, there's people right now in the world that work harder than all of us put together. There's people digging holes in Bangladesh. They're not making money. It's not about just hard work. It's a combination of many things. People like to simplify things, right? And I am kind of doing that right now. But I promise you, if there was a way to simplify a success, monetary or otherwise, it is related very heavily to this idea of minimal acceptable standard. If you have a minimal acceptable standard that is high, something will change. Something will change, right? And I've said this before. People are like, hey, how do you guys have these stores that perform, right? Whatever, right? You guys know what we do. How do you do that over and over and over and over? And I'm like, well, I don't know. I can tell you this, that before a manager goes into a store, he looks me in the eye and says, brother, I would rather die. I would rather die than if the store fails. Meaning, minimal acceptable standard. I would rather die than not meet our minimal acceptable standard. How the hell are you going to beat that guy? Tell me, how are you going to beat somebody? And by the way, I'll name those guys. Shaquille, AJ, Sozefa. They literally look me in the eye and says, hey, I'd rather die than if this store goes down. Man, I'm not gonna bet against that guy. I'm not doing that. Can you have guys, are you the guy that would be like, I'd rather die? There are many things that I would rather die than have in my life, right? That's a reality, right? For me, I would rather die than have a low acceptable standard in my business, in my marriage, in my health. It's not that I'm successful because I just it just comes down to you don't accept nonsense. And most of you guys that are stuck is you just accept bullshit. Stop accepting low level performance from yourself, and guess what? It's very easy to be successful. And it goes back to the gun to the head analogy, right? I've always said this to people, and I don't know where I heard it. It's not from me, but the old saying goes, hey Zane, if I put a gun to your head and said you have to make $1 million this year, would you figure it out? Yes, you would. I've never had anyone say no. I'd rather take the bullet. No, dude, I'm gonna figure it out. Well, succeed, as the freaking ET says, Eric Thomas. If you want to succeed as bad as you want to live, success becomes quite easy. And I think the issue it comes back to standards. You're accepting low-level standards. And when you accept low-level standards from yourself, when you accept low-level standards from other people, then you're going to get subpar results. And then you will be upset about why things aren't working out and what the hack is. There is no hack. Just stop accepting low-level work. I hope that helps, guys. Appreciate you all. Thank you for listening. I don't know. This thing's on for some reason, there's a bunch of random people commenting on this thing now. But anyway, if you're on my team, I appreciate you. If you're in the industry and you watch me, I appreciate you. Thank you for at least giving me the time of day to listen and hear us out. I think there's a lot of valuable lessons in what we've built and what we are, in fact, building it. And like I said, a big part of why I do this, so I can look back and not forget how I used to be as this company was being built and some of the useful lessons that I'm learning along the way. And guys, I cannot tell you, man, this lesson, this standard thing is such a big deal. I can get into great details about how I met people that I thought were, I met these guys that were doing the tremendous revenue, millions a month, 2, 3, 4 million in revenue a month. And I used to be like, oh, you have to be like something special. And I meet them and they were normal people. And it was like the Roger Bannister moment for me, the guy who ran the 4 minute mile. For me, it was like, dude, this is a normal freaking guy that's doing 2 million a month in revenue. Like, why am I not doing that? And it was like this mind blowing moment for me. And my standards changed. And soon after that happened, the business improved. So I encourage you guys to get around people that are better, that are doing better, people you want to be like. Stop hanging out with people that, that you don't want to be like. I mean, that's a pretty easy thing to do. Just start being around people that inspire you, that improve you, that make you want to be a better person. And yes, in the process, you're going to have to upset other people, but that is one of the costs of a good life. You have to be able to say no to the things you don't want. Anyway, best of luck to all of you. I wish you all the best. All you random people that are watching, I wish you the best too. I hope you get something out of this. God bless you all, and have a nice day, man. We'll see you. How do you shut this off?